Buonasera, benvenuti a tutti partecipanti a questa edizione del Forum Salesiano. Voi che per venire a Valdocco avete sacrificato alcuni giorni delle vostre vacanze estive. Ci aspettiamo ancora alcuni partecipanti che arriveranno stasera o domani mattina. Siamo felici che con questo gruppo di 25 partecipanti salesiani, salesiane e altri membri del movimento di Don Bosco da tutta l'Europa. Più tardi prenderemo il tempo per fare la conoscenza e siamo molto contenti di accogliervi qui in Valdocco in nome del gruppo di animazione del Forum Salesiano, Sor Magna Martinez, Caterina Carl, Lana Ivanjek, Carlo Lotz e io stesso Wim Collin.
A warm welcome to all of you here in Valdocco in the name of the animation group of the Salesian Forum. In number 40 of the Constitutions of the Salesians of Don Bosco we can read: Don Bosco lived a pastoral experience in his first oratory, which serves as a model. It was for the youngsters a home that welcomed, a parish that evangelized, a school that prepared them for life, and a playground where friends could meet and enjoy themselves. It is our wish that for each of you, these days may be an oratory experience. Days where we feel at home together, days of study, reflection and exchange, a learning experience, days in which we meet in an informal way, and days during which our inspiration may deeper in praying and celebrating together.
Il Forum Salesiano conosce una lunga tradizione. Nel 1968 sono nati i colloqui internazionali sulla vita salesiana, come raduni di salesiani dotati di buona preparazione scientifica e interessati a studiare, approfondire la conoscenza di Don Bosco e la vita salesiana. Nel 1973 i seminari di studio furono aperti alla partecipazione delle figlie di Maria Ausiliatrice, delle volontarie di Don Bosco e dei cooperatori salesiani o salesiani cooperatori adesso. Dopo la realizzazione del 26esimo colloquio a Berlino nel 2011 si è sentito la necessità di un cambiamento. Questa iniziativa era importante per diverse ispettorie europee e deve continuare, ma in un altro modo. Il gruppo di animazione che si è ritrovato a Roma il 27 gennaio 2012 per arrivare a una nuova esperienza e propone un nuovo approccio e una nuova denominazione, Forum Salesianum, Pedagogia, Pastorale, Spiritualità, ieri, oggi e domani.
The goals of the Salesian Forum are to promote the Salesian formation of the participants by organizing dialogue and collaboration between people in Europe who reflect on the Salesian tradition, to encourage systematic reflection among scholars and people working in the field about all aspects of the Salesian tradition, education, pastoral care, spirituality, and so on. To contribute to a continuing update of the Salesian educational pastoral project, and to disseminate the results of reflection and study, and also to promote a dialogue between the reflection of the SDB and the FMA on the preventive system.
Dopo la sua ordinazione sacerdotale nel giugno 1841, Don Bosco ricevette diverse interessanti offerte. Maestro in una nobile famiglia, cappellano a Morialdo o assistente del parroco a Castelnuovo. Prima di prendere una decisione consulta il suo amico e mentore Don Cafasso. lo esorta a continuare prima la sua formazione nel convitto. Don Bosco segue il suo consiglio. L'accompagnamento di Don Carfasso porterà un maggiore equilibrio nella sua vita, sia a livello umano che a livello spirituale.
When Don Bosco arrives at the convitto as a young priest, Don Carfasso brought him into contact with vulnerable young people who had no one to care for them. They were forced to live on the streets. Even though Don Bosco was not prepared for this situation, he looked on them with empathy, and he realized that this stage of life was precious and crucial. In that phase, young people gradually have to learn to deal with freedom and responsibility. They have to explore their own possibilities and limitations. They have to deepen their ability to give and to receive love. They have to face the challenges of accepting themselves and discovering their own path of life and vocation. It is a time of dreams and ideals, but also a time of searching, of trial and error, of facing one's own fears. A time for facing up to oneself, others, and reality. The potential of that stage of life and the need for personal guides appealed to Don Bosco's heart. As young people grow into adulthood, young people need companions who are able to connect with them and understanding their desires. By means of study and mutual exchange, we'll investigate this issue of accompaniment in the Salesian tradition. To present the different dimensions of the theme, we have invited 8 speakers. In addition to their contributions, we foresee enough time to share opinions in order to assimilate better their ideas. Speriamo che l'insieme sarà fruttuoso. First thing I'd like to do further with you is going through the map you received with our program, so you have an idea what happens the next day. You will find the Italian version on the left side and the English version of our program on the right side. Il programma in inglese a destra e l'italiano a sinistra, così. Program for this evening, after making acquaintance and reflecting, almost a first moment of reflecting about the theme of accompaniment, we have at 7:30 we'll have supper, and at 8:30 there is an evening prayer, a good night talk, and afterwards we will meet again for a drink and continue the process of making acquaintance. Tomorrow morning, those who like, they can participate at Eucharist in the Church of St. Francis de Sales. I hope that everyone is familiar enough with Valdocco to find a place. Otherwise, we will be outside and bring you over there. At 9 o'clock, there will be a moment of opening here. So then we start again. And then we have the first introduction by Louis Grech from Malta, a global introduction on accompaniment in a Salesian context. And then we get more on a perspective of the tradition. Wim will say something about accompaniment by Don Bosco, but using his writings, more specific, his letters. And we do the same thing by Suor Eliane. She will do the same thing using the letters of Maria Domenica Mazzarello. Suor Eliane, she will arrive tomorrow morning or probably this evening. You will see there's always an opportunity to put questions and sharing things in smaller groups. Of course, there is also a coffee break, Bob. Okay. Then in the afternoon, there is the dimension of also in our Salesian tradition that young people are accompanying other young people, and we like to explore this theme. It's Carina Baumgartner who will guide us through this part. And at the same time, she focuses also on the world of the youngsters, who is a world of, for a great time, a digital world, or the digital world is the reality for them. After a coffee break, 4 o'clock, it's the aspect of vocational accompaniment. José Miguel Núñez de la España will introduce this team. And to have a kind of a synthesis, at 5 o'clock we will have a moment of a world cafe so that we can exchange further ideas with another. Then there is a break, and then program has to change a little bit because we like to use the Basilica for the evening prayer and so on. So that means that the Good Night by John Lydon, reflection on the themes of the day, will come before dinner. And then we have our dinner, and then is the evening prayer, and the Good Night will be, not more the Good Night, but the evening prayer will be held in the Basilica. And there is a moment of recreation. Thursday at 9. Thursday morning, it is only a morning prayer because we will have celebrate Eucharist afterwards in the afternoon in the chapel near to the rooms of Don Bosco. You can use that chapel. So at 7:30 there is morning prayer, breakfast, and at 9 o'clock is opening. Then we get a psychological approach about accompaniment. What can we learn from psychology when we accompany young people? The difference between therapy and so on, and accompaniment. When we were preparing with our working group, this team, we discovered very soon that also cultural elements plays a great role when we're talking about accompaniment, and that's the theme that Katarina Carl will develop with us. In the afternoon, we will reflect on the ethical dimension of accompanying young people, and after 4 o'clock at 4:30, we have a guided visit to the museum, to the places or the Casa Don Bosco. Feel free to go inside already earlier, but be aware that we will have a guided tour in English with an English guide and with this Italian guide who bring us in those places. And then Eucharist is at 6:45. Then we have dinner, Good Night, and so on. On Friday, the last morning, Eucharist on a normal place in the Church of Francis de Sales. There's a breakfast opening moment, and then we harvest a little bit of what did we learn during those reflections moments. We do it in a specific way by writing a letter to Don Bosco and Maria Mazzarello. There was a moment of evaluation, and then we reflect already for a new edition of Salesian Forum in 2024. But okay, we'll share those elements again when we are so far in our program.